Hey everyone, back with another hard flaccid video. I really didn't think I'd be doing this, but this is something I've been meaning to post on the Patreon. A little write-up on this topic called central sensitization. However, I just actually think this is so important, weaves in so many of the points that I was trying to make of what I think hard flaccid is, how one gets it, how to cure from it, that I need to put this out there. So this is going to be the fourth video of the 5 videos that I'm going to put out for hard flaccid. The next one will be you can get hard flaccid again, and that's a very real thing that you guys need to take seriously. But yeah, this is it. Internalize the messages that I'm saying in this video, because again, it's going to weave everything in. It's going to sum up stuff that I've talked about before, and you guys really need to understand this, because the second I post the next video, like, I'm out. I'm done with the community. I'm done posting videos. I do not want to be a hard flaccid guy. I will have expressed by that point 100% of everything I ever wanted to speak on about this condition. After that, it's at that point it's not going to give you guys any benefit. It's actually going to, I think, take away from the message of what I was trying to put out, how to cure yourself of this condition. And I will become like this sort of personality, this cult of personality, where people are like, oh, what do you think Sears' thoughts are on this? I don't want anyone to lean on me on that way. I don't want anyone to think that there's an external force or a person out there who's going to save you from this condition. Guys, I got a reality check for a lot of you guys here. No one's coming to save you on this condition. You are alone on this. The most that can happen is, yeah, I can put videos out there. I can answer your questions in the comments. And I do work one-on-one with people on Patreon that you do have to pay for. My time is not free. I put a lot of time into both doing these videos, answering your questions in the comments, writing posts on Patreon. That's for free for everyone. That I simply cannot give you my number, give you my WhatsApp number, and message back and forth and have time taken out of my day every single day, unless it's not compensated for, because truly that just so much time gets eaten away from this. And there's so many of you out there, especially the guys who aren't putting value back into the community, who aren't even saying thank you for, like, I'll write, like, respond to like 10 comments of yours, and it's just like I'm expected to answer every one of like your impulsive questions. It's just like I just do not have time for that. You guys are the people in the community that I honestly resent more than the guys who are like so adamant about, oh, it's this theory or it's that. It's like, you guys provide no value, help no one but yourselves, ask tons of questions about what this person's symptom was, what's that, give nothing back, no context to help the other guy who you're asking. I'm just so done with this, dude. I completely understand why people move on from this community and just never come back, because it's truly a parasitic community that is a bunch of crabs in a bucket. That there's some guys who like know for sure what they have to do to get out of this situation, and there's and maybe they post their theory, or maybe they want reassurance of like, hey, if I stick with this, like, I think I'll get better. And there's so many naysayers or people out there who just like tear them down, or like, again, provide no value and ask them like 20 different questions without giving any input of like, hey bro, yeah, I think the theory, like, I think your idea about this is pretty cool. What about seeing it from this angle? Nothing, dude. Nothing. And that's like so much of this community. And a lot of people who I don't think are going to recover, because they're so reliant on others, when they have to realize no matter how you got hard flaccid, this is it, man. This is your responsibility now. This is your life. This is your wake-up call. It's on you to fix this. Get this idea out of your head that there's going to be studies done on this, and that like some doctor is going to like save you from this. No one's coming to save you, bro. Like, this is it. They were talking about studies back in my day, like 4 or 5 years ago. And even then they were like trying to reference studies from like 2008, when the forum was like PE gym or something like that. And like, look at, sure, we've made some progress. Sure, we've moved past the outdated prostatitis angle. Realize majority of cases are non-bacterial. Honestly, this is a cope and denial that, and sorry if this video is ranty, but again, I'm trying to express everything I feel about this condition, people's theories, the whole community aspect, who's going to heal, who's not going to heal, is going to be in this video. I'm going to weave in the central sensitization part pretty soon. But this whole idea that I have a bacteria infection and that's what's causing my penis to hurt. Bro, if you had a bacteria infection anywhere in your body for over 4 years, you would be dead. Like this is the denial people are in. You would straight up be dead if you had a bacterial infection for that long. Like there's no way it's a bacterial infection at that point. And they even have a study on this. I guess I'll link this one in the description box because I'm directly citing it. So yeah, the onus is on me for this one. But there's a study that came out years ago that was circulating within the community that the title's something along the lines of like over 95% of prostatitis cases are non-bacterial. And even if it was bacterial, once it becomes chronic, it becomes a muscular condition, which makes sense because their theory was that even if it was a bacterial infection initially and you killed the pathogen already did damage. It already tightened up muscles in that area that was trying to protect the bladder, trying to protect other organs and veins and nerves in the pelvic floor to prevent that bacteria from hitting it. So now the muscles are in this constricted state that the pelvic floor, it takes so much work to get out of that. So again, guys, don't tell yourselves lies that it's a bacterial infection regardless of how you got it. This is something I want to speak on, okay? 80% of guys straight up got it from masturbation, fapping, jelqing. They did some weird shit like used a penis pump, stuff like that, you know? They clearly abused their penis, overworked it, and now it's in this protective state, also known as hard flaccid, which is a very hard concept for a lot of people to understand. Hard flaccid is like a natural cause and effect in this protective mechanism to stop you from doing damage to like deeper nerves, deeper arteries, prevent you from doing damage to the bladder, like the urethra. It's all doing that to stop your dumbass from like actually destroying your body for good. And this is what muscles do. They're like that beyond the skin, they're the outer layer that tries to protect like organs and like actual tissue in the body that if you don't have it, you're straight up dead, you know? So it's tightening up. The muscle and the fascia there is tightening up as this protective mechanism to prevent you from doing further damage. So 80% of people, and I'm glad I've seen, as it came back to the community, try to look what theories people are into these days and stuff. I'm glad a lot of people are actually coming around to the idea that like, hey, I got this from fapping, I got this from edging, like this was on me, and I'm going the no fap route and I'm seeing a lot of improvements. Because back in my day, this was very, very controversial opinion. Like to even say to not touch your dick that is very inflamed, in pain, tight, all of that, people would screech at me when it's just like clear as day to me that, guys, like, okay, maybe you didn't get it from edging. Maybe you did truly have a bacterial case. Regardless, your penis is hurting. Do you really think it's a good idea to masturbate once it's hurting? Regardless if you think masturbation's healthy or not, I know I have an extreme view on it because this is essentially a no-fap channel. This is a semen retention channel. So obviously I swing the other way in thinking like, yeah, we shouldn't be fapping. But regardless if one thinks fapping's healthy or not, it is not healthy in this state. And this is where I want to break down. So another 15% of people got this condition through like accumulation of unhealthy lifestyle, and masturbation is a variable in that. Again, not saying masturbation is not healthy or not, just saying in a variables with other variables of your posture's been bad for years since you were a teenager. You've been seated for like so long. You hold a lot of tension in your body. You were a gym goer and you deadlift like tons of weight with wrong form. Do you really think masturbating for over 10 years, 10, 15 years daily, it doesn't matter if your habit was healthy or not. It doesn't matter if you weren't a degenerate like I and others were, edging for hours at a time, and you finish in like 5 minutes like a normal person. Do you really think day in and day out, when like your body's in a tense state from other bad lifestyle factors, that's okay for you? Like, think about it this way. Okay? Bicep curl is healthy to do, right? You're putting muscle on you. You're increasing your cardiovascular health. You're getting blood flow to the area. However, think of a bicep curl when your biceps already strained. Like, you lifted a box earlier in the week and it really like made you sore, or maybe there's just a mild soreness. Do you really think it's cool to hit it the next day, even doing something like 3 sets? So you're not overkilling the muscle, but you're still hitting it in a state where it's not ideal to hit it. It hasn't gotten its rest yet. And this is where I think the 15% of guys who are kind of like, yeah, bro, I never had a bad, unhealthy masturbation habit. Like, I know that for a fact. Like, I didn't get this from masturbation. I think you guys need to get way more self-aware of your lifestyle and where you came from. Because hard flaccid, dude, really, people need to stop bullshitting themselves that it came out of nowhere. Nothing fucking comes out of nowhere. Like, a guy who had a heart attack, that does not come out of nowhere. Everything can be traced back in this life. There's no coincidence of like, oh, it just happened, I just had a stroke. Like, no, there are clear lifestyle indications that led up to that. And sometimes, yeah, it's not a super traumatic event. It's not like, oh, the guy had a heart attack because he was screaming earlier and then his adrenaline was raised and everything went haywire. Sometimes it's not like that. And that's what I'm saying. The 15% of you who got hard flaccid, sometimes it's just the long, slow, gradual process of, again, posture was terrible for years. You were sedentary for years. Think, okay, going to the gym once a day to offset the rest of the 15 hours in the waking day. Do you really think you're not sedentary just because you went to the gym for like 1 hour and the rest of the day you're seated in the chair for long stretches of time, laying down long stretches of time, not getting up to move at all? Do you really think you're not sedentary? Like, come on. Like, 1 hour of gym is not going to offset all the damage that you're doing, stuck in one position, not moving at all, not getting the blood flowing. So all of that, again, with masturbation, regardless of whether it was healthy or not, 5 minutes, quick one and done, like once during the day, or maybe even every 3 days, I don't know. But you did that for 10, 15 years. Do you really not think that over time, like, you're going to get something from that? Some people, it manifests as like back pain or something. But for you, for your lifestyle, again, you got to be self-aware about it. Yours manifested as hard flaccid because something in your lifestyle tilted you toward that. Maybe your posture was super, like, you have a bad posture that lends itself more to hard flaccid. Maybe you're like a cyclist and that was your thing. And there's a huge link between cyclists and those who get hard flaccid, because the way a cyclist sits on the seat, it like presses on a certain nerve, I think, and the muscle really tightens up because of that. So usually it's people who cycle like very long distances. Again, if you go to the gym like once a week and you cycle like 3 miles, like, no, you didn't fucking get hard flaccid from cycling 3 miles a week. Like, again, be more self-aware about your condition, and be honest with your habits, and realize masturbation does play a role in it. 5% of people got hard flaccid from some true freak accident. Like, someone was in a car crash and it crushed their pelvic, and then it messed up pelvis and it messed up everything. I read of one story where a guy said he got jumped and they stepped on his groin. Stuff like that, man. Like, there is, from what I've seen in my experience with the forums, with the community, 1 of 20 people who truly got it from like some freak accident. But okay, regardless of how you got it, the method to heal yourself is still the same, guys. You got to understand this. Regardless of how you got it, you got to quit inflicting trauma on your body and allow itself to heal, okay? Because think of it this way. There are like a million ways to get lower back pain. But the result is the same, man. Like you got to strengthen the lower back. Well, mainly you strengthen the opposing muscle, the abs. Some people like to stretch the back. It's all the same shit with hard flaccid, bro. You strengthen the surrounding muscles. You strengthen your abs, your glutes, your pelvic floor muscles. You allow the penis to rest. Some people like Kegels. I really do not think you should be doing Kegels with hard flaccid. Very easy to flare yourself up. Very easy to overdo it. Just not a good route to take. Especially because you're already in like a strained, kind of overused muscle condition. So yeah. Definitely don't recommend that. But what was I saying? So someone who gets a lower back pain, it's like, regardless of how they got it, it's like the steps to alleviate that is all the same, man. And yeah, some people go the most extreme route and like get surgery. But first of all, I don't think surgery is a viable option for hard flaccid. It's not like the lower back, man. It's a way more complex area that they're working on. Way under researched. Way like there's this is such a, again, understudied condition. Do you really think if you let them cut you open, like whether it's directly in the pelvic floor in the pelvis area, or like supposedly doing spine surgery, that they know what they're doing to heal you? No, bro. Like get this idea of surgery out of your head. Surgery is not going to fix you. And especially something as ridiculous as spine surgery, that's likely just going to destroy you and give you more complications that will make hard flaccid look like paradise lost. Because it's like, you can get some crazy shit happen to you from getting spinal surgery. And the worst part of it is, like, the absolute crazy part of all of that is, it can take months to manifest. You can think you're good, think you're solid, and then 4 months later, I see this too in the hard flaccid community. People get surgery and be like, oh, I have this symptom that like came out of nowhere, and I'm worse off after the surgery. Same with shockwave therapy. Everyone's going on about, or not everyone, but there's a few people time to time who either advocate shockwave therapy or ask about it. Terrible thing to do to your body. Very new area of it's a very new thing to do. And I actually read this recently on the hard flaccid research subreddit. There was a guy from India who said he was a pharmacist, lost his license because he seemed like he was like morally good. He would tell like patients and stuff like, don't take this medicine, like it's not good for you, stuff like that. So they caught on to him, lost his license, and now I think he's a radiologist for a clinic where he said they do shockwave therapy. And he always saw people who got shockwave therapy come back and get worse. It's the duration paradox. Look this up if you guys haven't heard of it. It's this concept of what can help you initially can over time just actually make things worse. And that's what's going on with shockwave therapy. He said patients were coming in, they were seeing improvements after like 2 sessions, and then like within a few months they were in just a way worse state. And truthfully, I can't explain to you the mechanism why this is, what's happening here, why exactly you should stay away from shockwave therapy. But I'm telling you, man, if a guy who's working in a clinic and sees people day in and day out coming for that, specifically for hard flaccid, and he's telling you guys don't go this route, listen to him. What you guys really have to realize about this condition is you got to really listen to the guys who have done it, who have done the spine surgery, who have done the shockwave therapy, who have done like all the weird niche conditions that everyone, or treatments that everyone thinks will cure them. And they have actually said like, no, like it made me worse. And there's never going to be a big thread about it. Sometimes these guys don't post their own threads. Sometimes they're just a passing comment. in a thread that's completely unrelated, and they'll be like, yeah, I tried this, like made things completely worse. Put that in your memory bank, bro. Like there's never gonna be everything curated for you. There's never gonna be a guy who knows all the answers and like has everything just laid out for you. I tried to do that on my step-by-step guide, the second video I did on hard flaccid. And part of why I'm just so done with this community is even when I try my best to do it, I have people straight up asking me on that video, I have like, will this cure me? What do I do? Did you not watch the fucking video? I even put timestamps specifically to like break up the different topics to tell you what to do. Like I know this video is a bit more on focus. It's more ranty too, but I just got to express myself, man. Like, and some of this is just real shit. Like, again, no one's coming to save you. You got to take agency with your life about this. Start to take full responsibility, regardless of how you got hard flaccid. This is your life. This is on you now. No one's like gonna help you on this. This you can take from guys like me, where you watch my video, you gather the knowledge, but then apply it, man. Don't ask for someone to hold your hand every step of the way of like, oh bro, what do you think about this? What about this exercise? Why don't you try it? Why don't you try it and come back and add value to the community and tell others, hey, I did glute bridges and I got better off it. Or like, hey, I did bent over rows. Everyone should stay away from bent over rows because it flares me up like crazy. And there's no reason like with hard flaccid we should be doing it. Why don't you add fucking value to the community instead of be this parasitic leech that just wants to just wants others to like basically cure this condition for them. Again, it's not going to happen. And sadly, those people are not going to heal, because what's going to happen is those people don't have the mental resilience to stick with anything, to stick with the no fap for 2 years, to do any amount of walking for any extended amount of time, any amount of strengthening or stretching. They're just going to give up. They're going to give up a few months in, say, I tried everything, like there's nothing out there. And they're going to be become one of those people who are so toxic, who say nothing works. There's no cure for this. I've never seen anyone cured, despite there being tons of success threads. If you look out there, my video telling you exactly what to do, what I did to cure it. And they'll say no one's cured of it because they see no hope for themselves. They see no light at the end of the tunnel, and they got to be a little loser, because really that's what it is, a loser who brings down other people and tries to discourage others and make others lose hope as well. So those people are part of the 20% who are just not going to cure themselves, honestly. And it ties into finally, okay, I'm talking about central sensitization. It's this idea in medicine where sometimes you'll have a pain condition, right? And once that pain condition becomes chronic, what happens is the nervous system goes into this state where it becomes very reflexive and holds on to tension and starts to guard itself because it's anticipating more pain, right? So when you have hard flaccid, and this is why hard flaccid is super fucking hard to cure, because the pelvic floor is very, very susceptible to this, and it's very hard to lose tension in the pelvic floor because it's a very key area, again, for organs and arteries that run through it, that it does not want to damage itself there. So it's clenching super tight, and what's happening is the body's not letting go because it's anticipating the pain that it's already going through, and it's feeling the pain it's already going through and anticipating more pain to come in. So it's stuck in this guarded state that doesn't want to let itself go. Where even, okay, this is the crazy part about this, all of this. You can get like a paper cut and you will feel more hurt off that paper cut because the pain that you're feeling like down by your groin area, like it is just heightened the sensitivity of like everything, that you're so scared of pain that you feel the pain way more now. So this is what I'm saying when there is a huge, huge mental component to this whole hard flaccid thing. You cannot expect to heal yourself by being one of those guys who, again, are toxic and bring down others, and or need their hand held, or are just like totally hopeless, wallowing in self-pity about this condition. You guys got to start being men, because I see a lot of boys in the community. And I give a pass to like the actual boys, like the actual teenagers, okay? But the actual grown men, grow up, honestly. Grow up, grow some mental resilience, because otherwise you are not going to get yourself out of this hole. Like, you got to start doing things, get some easy wins to break yourself out of this, because otherwise you're going to continue to hold on to that tension. And let me tell you, the penis is a smooth muscle, right? Smooth muscle is mostly activated by this by the nervous system and regulated by the nervous system. But the penis is very complex in the sense that, like, you can actually touch it. It's not like a smooth muscle deep inside your body that you can't activate. You can overwork the penis, like I said. Like, that's how I think most of this condition is. It's overworking the penis, straining it. But it also behaves, since it's a smooth muscle, to the rules of a smooth muscle. So yeah, I mean, if you're like constantly holding on to tension, if you're a guy on Reddit just sitting there doom scrolling all day, you are not going to get better, man. Like, you are just not going to get better, because you are creating this terrible mental state, this hopeless state in your mind, where you're waiting for the next thing, the next guy to write the next theory, the next guy to like really say with enough conviction, it's this or it's that, and you're doing nothing to break yourself out of this cycle. And again, that's why I stress so hard, go for walks. You need to go for walks, because not only is it good for everything related to this condition physically, like adding blood flow to the area, strengthening all the surrounding muscles, really relaxing the pelvic floor, but out in walks, you're gonna be in nature, you're gonna say hi to neighbors, you're gonna get sunlight, you're gonna ground yourself and not be behind the screen, and realize like what real life truly is. All the little things, hearing the birds, hearing the insects chirp, like just all of that, all of it, like seeing trees move. They've done studies on this, or not see trees move, but moving while looking at trees. This is a huge thing for mental health. It's very strange. And this is straight up, this is why I do CSGO surf videos for the visuals of my videos. Because first off, I'm not going to fucking show my face talking about how for many years I had a broken dick because of hard flaccid. So there's that. But two, it's like the motion, you seeing something in motion is like trying to stimulate and emulate that same thing that we get from nature, from walking and being in motion and seeing trees and moving past them. For some reason, there's like, it provides a huge calming effect for people, and it's been studied. And the trees themselves also have stuff like negative ions, which again really help with mental health. So walking is huge. No one should not be walking with this condition. This is number two. Number one is obviously stop the fapping. This all revolves around not fapping, not further traumatizing your penis, not further feeling pain after a fap session, so that you're still stuck in that central sensitization state, and just furthering the cycle that you're going through, where you're in this pain cycle, and your body's just reflexively reacting to that. Two is walking. Three is, again, I've been preaching this. Find a physical therapist, not even pelvic floor therapist. Find a physical therapist who does manual therapy, because what he's going to do, and they don't do manual therapy on your pelvic floor, by the way. That's very risky. Some might. I would, personally, if it were me, I would be unsure if I'd want him working in that area. Let him work on other areas first, see his intensity at which he tries to break up muscle fascia, because I don't know, that could be risky. Instead, what's better is for him to work on your abs and again surrounding muscles, your core. He's going to break up very tight fascia that's has muscles like constricted, pressing on nerves, and they're going to free all of that up and give you mobility back, get pain free. All right, my bad. The video got to 30 minutes long, so I had to restart on my camera. But yeah, to recap, what you're going to want to do, 3 steps to break out of central sensitization is step 1, stop the fapping, stop inflicting trauma on yourself, let the body finally heal. This is all revolves around that, okay? Step 2, start walking at least 8,000 steps a day. Ideally, 10 to 12 is good. That'll be 5 to 6 miles a day. And you want at least one of those walks to be like an extended 2 miles at once, which will be about like 35 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes, assuming your pace is like 17 to 20 minutes, which is a good pace, about 3 miles per hour. Relaxed pace, still somewhat fast, but it's not like you're like forcing anything, walking all jankily and like, I don't know. Your posture will be good. Like everything in your body is gonna, you will see, for those of you who walk for any extended amount of time and do it for a few months, you will see just how much looser you feel overall in your body. And that's gonna just help with everything. Help with your posture, fixing your posture, help with the pelvic floor, getting blood flow to it, help with the hard flaccid, all of that. This is why I preach so much walking. And 3 is find a pelvic floor, find a physical therapist. Doesn't have to be a pelvic floor one, but find a guy who does manual therapy so he can break up tight muscle fascia. Dude, all of this is connected. Muscle fascia, you could have, there's a lot of people out there who theorize that the body, muscle, and fascia is all one thing and not like compartmentalized like we like to think, like, oh, my arm muscle is separated from my leg muscle. Like, no, some people think it's all connected, that if you have a trigger point all the way up in like your upper right chest, like that can be pulling down on your groin and causing this pulling sensation that's keeping things tight down there. There's a brilliant guy years ago, GregHF, who essentially got like, he left the community, I think, on his own terms, but he got way too much fucking hate. And I got to defend his legacy here and bring some honor to this man, because this guy put out so much out there for free. His only sin was he preached DCT so hard, which was dynamic contraction technique or therapy or something like that. Basically, essentially what it was like active stretching, but they ended up trademarking like a term DCT and marketing and selling it for $400. A lot of the community consists of teenagers and people age 18 to 22. So anyone kind of in that age who views something being sold or views something being promoted, like they think it's all a scam. Anything you got to pay for, they're like, oh, that's a fucking scam. Anything this guy says is BS. So, because I feel like that's mainly who he fought with, or the main people who were the naysayers, because like the people with more rationality, who are older, who have income, it's not like they necessarily bought DCT, but they kind of understood, like, okay, there's someone who made a program out there, there's someone who made a step-by-step thing. You can buy it or you can not. You can straight up just find just active stretching videos on YouTube. This guy found value in doing DCT, and it helped him piece like his perspective on the body like much better. So like, why are you like, I just, the hate for this man was insane. Like, and he just put out tons of videos for free of his progress, what he was doing. I've never seen a man put so much effort into this condition as he did. He would for hours a day be like either like tinkering with his body in the form of stretching, trying to figure out exactly, okay, if I move my arm like this, like how do I feel here, and does it release tension here? I have so much respect for this man. So again, I got to defend his viewpoint, his legacy, and just really highlight the fact that like that was a huge reason for me to resent this community and feel like, okay, after the next video that I put out that you could get hard flaccid again, I'm just done. I want nothing to do with this community. I've helped as many people as I can, but I refuse to remain in this space. I refuse to like keep trying to help a lot of people who don't fully appreciate like what I'm trying to do here. And for the guys who do appreciate, for the guys who are really grateful for what I'm doing and are thankful, and they're very concise with their questions, and they'll come back and be like, hey bro, remember me? Like, I made a lot of progress. I am rooting so hard for you guys. I have so much love for those guys, because I see those guys as the guys going to cure themselves, because their mental state just looks so good. They're actively working toward fixing the condition. They have a good head on their shoulders. They have a good attitude about all this. They're the ones going to cure themselves, because they understand what they have to do to cure themselves. And they're such in this good healthy mental state that I'm pretty sure they're breaking out of that central sensitization state, versus the guys who, again, are very toxic, and or the guys who just spam me with questions on every little thing, any impulsive thought they have. They're not going to get better. I've seen so many people in these communities, and those guys are going to eventually morph and evolve into the guys who are toxic, who say, oh, I did no fat for 3 months, I saw no improvements, that guy's full of shit, or whatever thing. They're going to just wait until the next theory for them to latch onto, wait for the next guy to write a success thread, and then bother him, and then do nothing on their own. Again, you guys got to take full responsibility for this. This is like the first step, really, to break out of the central sensitization, like realizing it's on you. And you'll realize, for some of you who do finally like grow up and stop like bothering others so much for help, like once you realize it's on you, you'll honestly feel a weight lifted off you, okay? Because then finally it's in your control. It's in the ball's in your court now. You realize the extent at which you have to go. You're not waiting for an answer from like some guy on the internet that you never met. Like, it's all on you. And once you truly internalize that and understand that, I'm telling you, you will feel so much better for it, and you will make so much improvements, because a lot of this is the mental game, man. And I've fixed other chronic conditions like costochondritis, where basically I stopped lifting for a few months, got sick with COVID one time, came back first off, way too quickly after getting sick. And second off, I went back to the gym, and this is so dumb. I have no idea how I did this, because I always knew not to do this, and yet I did it this time. I immediately put back the same weight I was using before. That night when I went to sleep, I felt like something tore like deep in my chest. Like I was actually sketched. It was something like crazy, like my aorta or something like that, like a artery or some shit like that. Woke up the next day and my chest was just like on fire, completely tight. Felt like I was going to have a heart attack for 2 months. Was legitimately scared, like straight up paralyzed with fear sometimes, that what I was going through is like, is this a heart attack? Like, am I actually need to go to the hospital? And what finally broke that for me was when I finally did a stress test where they had me run on a treadmill and basically test my heart with the EKG. Both the running, like flushing away the inflammation, because when you run, your chest bounces, right? You probably don't see it, but your chest kind of like bobs up and down. So that motion plus the running, like being just good for oxygen flow and stuff like that, the inflammation that was in my chest just flushed out. And the fact that they told me, and I knew for sure now, your heart's good, man. Like, there's no threat of a heart attack. You're completely good. Overnight, I healed. Overnight, I felt I got 95% of the condition gone. The only thing that remained was when I, like, sat by a window and it was cold, like, there was a cold breeze, I'd feel that chest tightening and be like, oh, shit, I guess I still have this. But then I got to work, man. I did strengthening. I started doing push-ups again very slowly. I actually think before I did push-ups, I started pull-ups because I thought, okay, work the opposing muscle. Pull-ups are great for that because not only will it work the back muscles that are opposing, but it's also going to stretch out my whole rib cage and chest, because you're like, when you're hanging there and you're going up, that's just a great stretch. So I would start with that. After 3 weeks, I slowly added push-ups. And then within like 2 months, it was gone, man. I was cured of costochondritis. So the point I'm trying to make with that story is the mental component is huge. I would have never reached that point of 95% cured had I not done that stress test and knew for sure, like, I'm good. And I'm telling you guys, 80% of you guys, actually, sorry, 95% of you guys out there are good, man. Hard flaccid is nothing other than like an overuse theory. Quit fooling for their lives that it's like this. Quit like believing a surgeon whose whole income comes from penile implants and doing surgery, thinking that it's spine surgery that's going to fix you because you have some weird niche condition that's like some weird blood flow problem. No, dude, it's none of that. I'm a very sentimental guy. About once a year, both for hard flaccid, costochondritis, other subreddits that I was like a huge part of. Once a year, I'll go back, I'll look up users whose username I remember, who was like, oh, this guy was so vocal about this theory. He was such a dick and told everyone else they're wrong. It's this blood flow problem. You have to get like a specific scan for it, even though it's not a Doppler scan. It's like this even more niche scan. And until I get the scan, then they'll see something's truly wrong deep down in there. And you know what happens? Like, to those accounts, I look back and it's like they never cured hard flaccid. 4 years later, they're still posting on the forum. And eventually what happens is they just stop posting, never post a success thread like they said they were. And their last post history is like them still theorizing about the condition. So I'm telling you here right now, start ignoring those people. Stop doom scrolling. You know what you have to do. Get to work on this. Again, to recap, stop fapping. That's the key to all this. Stop inflicting trauma on your penis. Let the body heal. Step 2, start walking a lot. And step 3, find a good physical therapist who could do manual therapy, because them breaking up the tight muscle fascia is going to reduce central sensitization. And there's other stuff too. You can try acupuncture. Acupuncture might break you out of that state, might be the thing that puts you over the edge, that finally your body is relaxed and less tense. There is sometimes people like this is why central sensitization is a real thing for this condition. There are some people who they'll go on vacation and they'll say, like, the whole time I was on vacation, my hard flaccid was gone. I was completely good. And the second they came back, it came back. What do you think's going on here? Okay, again, penis is a smooth muscle, works off the autonomic nervous system. They were completely relaxed during vacation. So finally they broke out of this tension holding state that they were in, and their hard flaccid went away. But when they came back to regular life, all the stressors came back. Hard flaccid came back as a result, and that's what happened. But again, in my opinion, all comes back to the no fap and quit inflicting trauma on your penis. Because if you continue to afflict the trauma, if you continue to hurt something that's already hurt and ejaculate and cause more pain, you're just going to be stuck in that cycle, man. You're going to be stuck in that pain cycle. You're going to be stuck in this state where your body is not breaking out of that tension holding state, because you keep introducing more tension when you're fapping or you're ejaculating. I mean, look at an orgasm, how much muscles contract, really. Like, it is a very powerful contraction and movement and sensation in the body. Like, honestly, like, again, it'd be like a guy who strained his bicep and then you continue to do bicep curls. It just makes no fucking sense to me for people to continue fapping. And it just seems like some mental gymnastics or some coping mechanism that people say, like, no, no fap's not going to cure you, and I still fap and people can still fap. If you want to do that, good for you, but don't be one of those guys who are like, people can still recover and fapping's gonna do nothing. I looked back at my old threads because a lot of you guys like found my Reddit account and are going through my old threads, which is I don't know how I feel about that. Again, it's kind of weird. I mean, if you took value out of it, sure, go for it. But I don't know. Again, I just feel weird that people like found my Reddit account and like that's been doxxed. So yeah, it's just strange behavior. But anyways, I saw I'm like proud of this comment. Okay, this is why I got to bring this up. There was like, I think it was even a mod of like one of the subreddits, and he's like, people can still fap. Like fapping at most is just a temporary setback. And I'm like, bro, think about what you said logically for a second, okay? If it's a temporary setback, but you're repeatedly doing it, so you're repeatedly getting a temporary setback, you're setting yourself up for failure. You are not progressing, because if you're constantly setting yourself back, you got to go, like, your progress is like plateaued, or like even worse, it could be just pushing you in the hole even further. Like, again, think like logically, think about that. I said it more gracefully in the text. I forgot exactly, but yeah, it was just something along the lines of like a repeated temporary setback is just like just repeatedly going back. You're not making progress. Like, think about that fucking logically. I have no idea how this guy who's so sure of himself, who thinks so highly of himself, couldn't recognize how flawed his argument was. It was so strange. Again, another thing that I despise about the community, the arrogance, the like people caring more about being right rather than helping others, caring more about it being this theory or that theory, instead of like being a positive influence in the community. And I'm probably going to stop the video here because I feel like I've ranted enough. And yeah, I want to help you guys, but I don't like, I got to stop myself from ranting. So yeah, that's the video, guys. Hope you took away something from it. Hope it woke you guys up to some of the realities of the condition, what you have to do. Definitely don't downplay that mental aspect. It's a very key component. I don't think it's all of it. It's 100% of it. Like, oh, you can still fap, everything's good, just pretend it's not there. Like, you know, that's BS. There's definitely a physical component to it. And again, it's the fapping, because you're inflicting the trauma and your body's not going to break out of the mental component if you continue to inflict pain and trauma on your body. It's clear as day to me. Anyways, that's the video, guys. See you next time. Peace.